Alrighty, UFC 310 has just concluded. Here's your Monday's recap. Overall, I did think this was a really solid card. Not like a amazing, stellar, game-changing card per se, but I did think it was a really good card. I heard some people online saying it was a dud card or it was kind of trash. I don't think that at all. I think this was a really solid card. There were some dud moments for sure, and we'll get into those as well as everything else too. But I did really think this was an overall solid card. So on picks, I didn't do too well. I think it went 9-5 or something like that. But it's okay. We'll do better next time. But let's just start with the main card. We'll go top to bottom. We'll briefly go over every fight. Pantoja versus Asakura, man. Who is beating Pantoja? No one at flyweight, I can tell you that. And yeah, I can't see a single name that beats this guy. I mean, he's already beat Moreno 3 times. He beat Royval twice. He's beat Kopp. He's beat Schnell. He's beat Perez. He's beat, gosh dang it, Cap. He's beat Manel Cap. He beat Kai Kara France on the Ultimate Fighter, and it was technically not a UFC fight, but he's beat France on the Ultimate Fighter. Man, and I think he beats France. I think he'd beat Urseg in a rematch. He'd beat Royval and Moreno again. I think he beats Tyra, Almabayev. Who else in the division? I don't know. Makayev if he were to come back. I think he'd beat Makayev if he came back. I also think he beat like Joshua Van. He just beats everybody. And man, he really went out there and schooled Almabayev. Not Almabayev, sorry. Asakura. Asakura came out wild, opened with a flying knee. His striking was wild. They were fast on the feet. And man, Pantoja just out-wilded him. He also got wild on the feet, rocked him with the shot, and the takedown that he used to set up the rear naked choke was he like jumped on his back and then like threw himself around, spun them around, got them to the ground. It was crazy. Man, great for Pantoja. Asakura, I mean, obviously, we kind of knew this from the start. Not UFC caliber, like not championship caliber at least. I'd love to see him in future fights. I think he's going to be a really fun striker to watch. I don't think he's like stays in the top 5 per se. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but we will have to see how this win ages. But overall, good win for Pantoja. Really high on this guy, man. He called out DJ, but nah, like DJ's not coming back. And I know he's trying to promote, and I know this is probably the only fight that's going to be interesting in the flyweight division. It's just not going to happen. Poor flyweight is just so dead, man. And it's not Pantoja's fault at all. It's just the rest of the division. There's no contenders, and honestly, the division just got held up for so long with that Moreno and Figgy quadrilogy. There was some other fights in there. I know there was an interim title thrown in there too, but it just got held up. But I don't know. I really hope we can get some fresh contenders in here. Anyways, Shavkat versus Ian Gary. Shavkat's first decision win in the UFC. Not quite the war we were expecting. They seemed a bit low output until the 4th round where Shavkat really started shooting double legs. I don't know. Well, I do know. He comes from a Sambo background, which uses a lot more tosses and throws, and it's a lot easier with a gi because you can grab the gi and perform tosses and stuff like that. But without a gi, you're just basically doing Greco-Roman, and that's kind of hard for Shavkat at least. He just really struggled to get those clinch takedowns, and I was begging for him to just shoot traditional single and double legs, and when he did, he was able to get Gary down. He was really close on a couple of clinch throws, but Gary really had some impressive takedown defense in this fight, and that submission attempt that Gary threw up, very impressive by Gary. I know it wasn't all the way under the chin, but it was still posing some danger. He almost had it, but man, Shavkat really, fought through to get out of that. Props to both dudes, honestly. 48-47 for Shavkat. I think Gary's stock went up a bit in this fight. I know after the fight, Shavkat, it came out that he had a torn MCL, but maybe you can use that as an excuse why he didn't perform too well, but Shavkat did look really solid on the feet, though. He was landing the better shots. I predicted that Gary was probably going to be landing the better shots for the first 2 or 3 rounds, but Gary really wasn't giving him much in the striking, and it was all Shavkat in that striking. So good on them both. I look forward to Shavkat versus Bilal. Poor security didn't know Bilal was champion. That Bilal has went through so much crap, man. I'm honestly kind of happy that Bilal's champ now, just because of all the crap that he's had to go through and all the crap talk he's just had to endure from the fan base and everyone. And he finally got his moment against Leon, and he's now the champion. I'm happy for the dude. In terms of who I think would win a fight between them, man, honestly, I don't really know. Shavkat, it's all about, can he deal with Bilal's pressure and takedowns. I think he outstrikes Bilal on the feet, and I think he obviously has the better finishing ability, for sure. But Bilal's going to be constantly pressuring him and shooting those traditional single and double leg takedowns and looking to circle to get to the back. Man, if Gary got that close to a submission, I don't know. I don't think Bilal's going to finish him. That's not going to happen. I still think I would slightly favor Shavkat in a title fight, but man, we'll just have to see. Anyways, Cyril Gane and Alexander Volkov. That was bad. That was really bad. One of the judges that gave Gane the win, she was involved. I can't remember her name, but she was involved in that Canelo and Triple G boxing fight that she took 3 years off from or something like that. Came back to judging, and she's still putting out these scorecards. Man, Cyril Gane really disappointed me. He really actually upset me in this fight. Volkov looked really solid, and I will say Gane's grappling did improve a bit. But man, I think Volkov won rounds 1 and 3. There's an argument that he won round 2, but I think pretty easily he won rounds 1 and 3. It was a competitive fight, but I know Gane broke his toes and 3 of his toes in the first kick that he threw in the first round. I mean, you got to fight through it, man. Stuff happens. Stuff happens in the cage. And just the way he just walked out of the cage after the decision was read, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. It kind of reminded me when Forrest Griffin ran out of the cage after the Tito Ortiz fight. That's kind of what it reminded me of, and it was just kind of unprofessional from Gane. I get that he was upset with his performance and he didn't think he won, but it just kind of still rubbed me the wrong way. Man, Volkov, come on, man. You got to give Volkov that win. I've been impressed with each fight that Volkov has been putting out recently. I thought Pavlovich was going to knock him out, and he schooled Pavlovich. And now he kind of made Gane look silly, you know? I think we were kind of fantasizing about a Gane versus Aspinall matchup, who's going to win the striking here, you know? Aspinall's the very quick twitch, power puncher, boxing kind of guy, and Gane's kind of the more flowy, rangy kickboxer. Who's going to win that exchange? Now it just kind of made Gane look silly, and I don't know that I trust Gane to beat Aspinall anymore. And yeah, this fight was just really disappointing. You know what wasn't disappointing though? Was Bryce Mitchell knocking out Kron Gracie. That was cinema to watch, dude. Oh my gosh. Kron Gracie refuses to make any changes to his MMA game, and it makes me so mad. And the fact that Bryce was just able to knock him out like that was very impressive. He scared me in the second round with an armbar. I was like, Bryce, please don't tap. But he got out of it. He stayed postured up. I think that's what helped him escape the armbar. If he were to roll or fall, I think Kron would have probably submitted him. But yeah, Bryce clinched up with him, and Kron just kept jumping guard, for some reason. I don't know, because I know the Gracie family is all well, if you only need Gracie Jiu-Jitsu to win an MMA fight. Well, obviously that's not true. It's stupid. That's a stupid notion, and it's a delusional notion. And Kron Gracie is delusional for participating in mixed martial arts. He just is, because he's delusional every time he comes out. He makes 0 improvements. He makes 0 changes to his game plan, and he makes 0 adjustments inside the cage and expects the same thing to work every single time. And that's called insanity. And you can't do that against Bryce Mitchell. I think in the third round, Bryce just got tired of it. I think that knockout just looked like he got tired of it. Slammed him, elbowed his face in. Man, it was great to watch. And I hope Chrome Gracie never fights again. And I'm happy that Bryce Mitchell got a win, especially after getting brutally knocked out by Josh Emmett. So I'm happy for Bryce. I love this moment. Call me messed up or wouldn't say negative or just being mean that someone got knocked out like that. But man, that just made me so happy. Nate Landwehr and Doo Ho Choi, man, that was a solid fight and a solid performance from Doo Ho Choi. I picked Landwehr to win. Oh yeah, and by the way, my picks on this card, I picked Pantoja, I picked Shavkat, I picked Gon. Technically, I was wrong, and I picked Mitchell, and I picked Landwehr. So technically, the only fight that I got wrong was the Landwehr-Doo Ho Choi fight, but come on. I'll take it. I got Gon Volkov wrong. I know I got it right on paper, but I got that wrong. It was a robbery. Come on, man. But anyways, Doo Ho Choi really impressed me with the finishing Nate Landwehr like that is very impressive. And he beat him pillar to post. Nate Landwehr had no answer for him. I know I was kind of expecting Landwehr to get kind of beat up early and then come back and knock him out because he tends to do that a lot, but he had no answer, and Doo Ho Choi put him in that mounted crucifix position and just started elbowing him until he got the TKO finish. Very impressive by Choi. I'd like to see one or two more fights outside the rankings before he can fight inside the rankings. Maybe, I know, who was it? Hapero MMA, however you say it. Sorry, dude, if I mispronounce it. He was saying, I think, give him Sadiq Youssef. I think that would be a solid fight. And then we can get him in the rankings soon if he wins one or two more. I'd say probably two more. Yeah, I'd love to see this dude in the rankings. Anyways, Dominic Reyes and Anthony Smith. Okay, bittersweet kind of fight here. On one hand, I'm very happy that Dominic Reyes is on a winning streak in 2024, both by finish. Impressive. And Smith is an impressive win. And right before the fight, they announced that Smith's longtime friend and best friend and training partner just died a few weeks before the fight. So I was kind of feeling sad for Smith, and he just had nothing. He didn't have anything out there for Reyes, and he just got finished in the fetal position like he tends to do a lot. Honestly, it's nothing new with this fight anyways. Just it tends when he gets taken down or when he's on the ground, he just curls up. I don't know why. He talks about his jiu-jitsu so much. And he is a dangerous jiu-jitsu guy sometimes, but he really doesn't fight to try and get back up. And it's kind of upsetting to watch. And I really feel bad for Smith. I hope he hangs it up. I don't want to see him fight anymore. He hasn't looked good. He missed weight for this fight. He has been looking less and less in shape every fight. And I think the weight miss was probably bound to happen. Looking back, yeah, dominant win by Reyes, solid. I think we slowly build him back up in light heavyweight. I don't want to see him against I don't know, like a Carlos Ulberg, or I think Carlos Ulberg would finish him. I think Bogdan Guskov would maybe finish him. Who knows? Yeah, I think we carefully build this guy up. I'd like to see him fight again in the light heavyweight division. Smith, like I said, just hang it up, man. You've had so many fights. You are a legend. You're fighter's fighter. I know we make fun of him a lot, but I think we come to see him fight. And with just the way his fights have been going recently, and with the death of his best friend, I think he just needs to hang it up and call it quits. This fight wasn't good for him. Anyways, on a more positive note, Luque and Garimbo. I don't know why I picked Themba Garimbo. I feel stupid for picking Themba Garimbo. I picked him, but in the back of my head, I knew that even if he did win, he would not stay ranked at all. And I don't know why I picked a guy who went to decision with Nico Price over Vicente Luque. Oh, well, I'll take the loss. I'll take that one. What was it? I think this was fastest anaconda choke in UFC history, which is very impressive. But yeah, Luque just Luque just smashed him, man. He took him down, locked in the anaconda, put him to sleep. Very solid, very impressive. Movsar Evloev and Aljamain Sterling, man, this was a good fight. This was a really enjoyable fight. Not a lot going on in the striking, but man, Sterling impressed me. Sterling really did impress me. He picked up Movsar, slammed him, threw him a couple times. Really, he got his back at one point, I think. He got dominant positions a couple times. He was so close to winning the fight and a couple times, but man, Movsar's ability to just scramble and make the positions go his way, it just came out on top, and that's what I thought was going to happen. I thought Movsar was going to be a bit more dominant in this fight, but man, I really underestimated Sterling grappling, I will say. And I think Sterling, in the future of the featherweight division, he's here to stay, I think, and he's going to have some really good matches going for him in the future. Him and Bryce Mitchell, that would be an interesting fight. That really would be an interesting fight, I think. But yeah, man, Movsar Evloev, he's solid. In terms of him, where he ranks next in the division for title shots, I'd say maybe he deserves it. I know we kind of want to see, excuse me, I think Lopez might be more deserving for a title shot at this point because he beat Ortega and he's ranked number 3. But Movsar does have more ranked featherweight wins than Lopez does. I would like to see Lopez fight for the title first. I think Lopez gets finished. In terms of how Movsar does, I think Movsar could be pretty competitive with Topuria, but I do think Topuria would finish him too. I really hope he doesn't become champion, man. I know Movsar is exciting, but I really, really, really want Topuria to stay champion. Overall, really solid fight. I'm glad I watched it. It was a really good wrestling match, if you want to go back and watch it. Randy Brown and Bryan Battle. Not a good fight. Not a good fight at all. I changed my pick last minute to Randy Brown because of the weight miss. And I just thought that Bryan Battle wasn't going to be able to show. And I was right in that regard. Bryan didn't show. And Randy didn't help either. Randy, like, I know, like, people were saying that, like, Bryan was clinching a whole lot and stalling the fight. Randy was doing that too, right? Randy would throw a combination and he would clinch too. I know Randy was landing the longer and the better combinations. I think Randy won that fight, man. I said it was a robbery on my Instagram story. I think so. Randy just made Bryan look silly. Bryan made himself look silly. He didn't help himself at all in that post-fight interview. He was just like, "Why are you booing me, man?" And it's just like, man, you missed weight and you looked bad. He just looked skittish. He kind of looked like he didn't care to be in there. And his demeanor in the post-fight interview just kind of made it look like he didn't care. And that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And I still like Bryan Battle. I really want to see him get a fight in the rankings someday. I also want to see Randy Brown get a fight in the rankings someday. I know he's kind of failed a couple times at that. I think he fought Luque. I think Luque beat him. I know Della Maddalena beat him, but that was before he was ranked. So yeah, I'm interested in the future of Bryan Battle and Randy Brown. Randy Brown is really solid. He's a really solid unranked welterweight, and I think he just keeps getting better every fight, honestly, and I'm impressed by him. Chris Weidman and Eric Anders, man, what else is there to say other than Chris is old, he looks like trash, and he should hang it up. I mean, Eric Anders is not that good. He's plotty as heck. Weidman dropped him. And Anders is kind of slow, but man, that was a bad finish. Maybe a little bit of a late stoppage, but yeah, not much else to say other than Weidman's old, he sucks, and he should hang it up. Cody Durden to Joshua Van. Man, Joshua Van really turned it up in rounds 2 and 3. I was surprised that Cody Durden was still staying in there. Cody Durden has a heck of a chin, man. Props to Durden, and I'm really happy that Joshua Van's ranked now, especially after that loss to Charles Johnson and kind of looking against Edgar Shirez, I believe. So yeah, really solid win for Joshua. He's a really good volume striker. He's a really good pressure boxer. And I know people comparing him to the to being like a Max Holloway of the flyweight division. I'd agree with that comparison, man. He looks, he's always just turning up the volume in his fights, and he's just making guys melt under his pressure. And Cody Durden was melting under his pressure, and he just couldn't take it. Props to Durden, like I said, for hanging in there. But Joshua Van's gonna be a problem moving forward, man. I don't think he gets in the top 5. I mean, maybe I'm judging the Charles Johnson loss too hard, but I do think he's 23. He has so much more room to grow. Even if he loses a couple more times, he has plenty of room to lose. He has plenty of room to grow and improve in his career. And I think he should put on a bit more muscle to fill into the flyweight division, because he's a bit small, which is weird saying that for a flyweight, but he is. And I wish him the best career moving forward. Chiesa and Griffin, pretty meh fight. Chiesa got the submission in the 3rd round. Max Griffin's kind of crap. Michael Chiesa always has that submission threat. Not much else to say. I think Chiesa wants like one more fight. Maybe give him like, I don't really know who you give him. One more fight, unranked fight. I don't know who you give him. Oh well. Chiesa's got submission threat. He's not that good though. Max Griffin's worse. Maybe Max Griffin should retire. Clay Guida, Chase Hooper. Clay Guida got submitted in round 1. Really good on Chase Hooper. Chase Hooper's got really good jiu-jitsu for the lightweight division. I'd like to see him maybe against I don't know. Keep building him up in the lightweight division's unranked pool. Maybe you give him Renat's welterweight. I don't know. I can't think of names off the top of my head. Maybe you give him like a Elvis Brenner or Yolo Alvarez. You could give him like I think he's like 6'1", isn't he? Like Chase Hooper's so much taller than I think. I cannot believe he made featherweight looking like that. I think again he was just like really skinny. He didn't have any muscle. Maybe you give him like a Ignacio Bahamondes or something like that. I don't know. Start building him up towards that ranking spot. Clay Guida, I think he should just hang it up. He's not like a Jim Miller, where Jim Miller's still having impressive fights and still getting finishes. Clay Guida's just kind of Like Jim Miller is a different beast, man. Jim Miller is a different kind of guy, where even though he's 41, 42, he's still having entertaining fights. He's still getting wins, and he's still looking good in his old age and way out of his prime. Clay Guida doesn't look good anymore. He just goes out there and plods forward and swings big hooks and then gets finished, But what can you say? I love to see the future for Chase Hooper. Like you said, he's also very young, 25. He has a lot of room to grow. And I look forward to it. And then first fight on the card, last thing, Nishikukwu finishing Lucas Brzeski. Lucas Brzeski, get out of here, you suck. Nishikukwu, the light heavyweight skill, man. As Lucas Tracy would say, the lighter man skill. It's real. It's real. More of these light heavyweights should move up to heavyweight. I know we're calling for Johnny Walker to do the same. He's going to get finished by Vadim Guskov. Poor dude. I actually really feel bad for Johnny Walker, but we'll get into that at a different time. Nishikukwu looked pretty solid. I think he looked kind of hittable in that fight, but I think his striking looked pretty decent nonetheless. And he finished Brzeski as he should, It'd have been different if he went to decision with him. Then it would have been like, Nishikukwu kind of trash, But he finished Brzeski in the first round, like I said, as he should. Maybe give him like a Martin Badai or something like that, and then give him a ranking shot, because there's just no unranked talent outside of the heavyweight division. We had a couple unranked guys. We had Waldor Cortez Acosta, we had Mick Parkin, but now they're ranked. Shamil Gaziev, they're ranked now. Every good heavyweight is now ranked. Now we got Kennedy Nzechukwu. Give him one more fight, like one or two more unranked fights. Like I said, Martin Badai, I don't know, feed him Austin Lane if you want to. But yeah, really solid for Kennedy. I look forward to his future in the heavyweight division. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. This was my first Monday recap. I want to try to do more of those, especially because it's coming up on winter break, and I have more time. Finals are pretty much done, and I can do more of these videos now. I can get more consistent. All right. Thank you for watching again, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.